Okay, so we're doing the circuit for the boys, and for the first 2 weeks, before you start the beginning circuit, you're going to break down bridges. So you'll one by one make sure that they know how to do a bridge on the purple mat, on the blue mat, I meant. So you can have them just lay down on the blue mat. You can either have them lay down completely on the blue mat or put their hands on the floor. You should probably start with them laying down completely on the mat and just have them push up into a bridge, focus on straight elbows and arms by ears, come down, and then the second 2 weeks, you will focus on their forward roll. So before you talk about the circuit, you'll have the kids sit by the wall and one by one show you standing right in front of the red mat. Come stand right in front of the red mat, up so tall, down so small, look at your belly, and roll. And if they cannot do that on the red mat, then you can pull out the wedge mat and work at it on that. So for the circuit's going to be for an entire month, and the stations are just going to get a little more difficult depending on the week. So let's start right here by the red mat. The first 2 weeks, they're just going to work on a couple of donkey kicks. So you can tell them to do 3 or 5 donkey kicks, and that's it. The second 2 weeks, they'll do their donkey kicks, and then they'll go straight into the last one, into a forward roll. Then they're going to walk along the paw prints and walk up the red wall. There you go. Then they're going to put their hands on the block, jump on the block, and slide through, jump off. Then they're going to come to the balance beam, and this station, again, for the first 2 weeks, they're just going to do some leg switches. They'll put one foot on and switch. The second 2 weeks, they're going to try to do jumps up, which will be a little harder. If it's too hard for them, have them just stick with the leg switches. By the next station, they're going to put their hands in the bar, walk their feet up the wall, make sure to look at the pink wall, and hold it for 5 or 10 seconds. That's the first 2 weeks. The second 2 weeks, if they're ready for a challenge, you can either push the pink mat down or you can bring the red barrel in, and this time they're going to work on stacking their butt with their hands and holding. Nice. Then they're going to come to the P-bars. And the first 2 weeks, they're going to work on dips. You can choose 5 or so dips. And the second 2 weeks, they're going to work on mountain push-ups. Then when they come to the high bar, the first 2 weeks, they'll work on a tuck hold. Knees to their belly. And the second 2 weeks, they'll start their tuck hold at the end of one side, and they'll work on shimmying all the way to the end in their tuck hold. By the rings, the first 2 weeks, they'll work on their tuck hold. And the second 2 weeks, if they're ready, they'll work on their pike hold. Then they're going to come up the steps, and they're going to work on straight body, tight jumps, engaging their abs for the whole month. Nice tight jumps until they get to the end. Jump, safety, stop. And that's the entire circuit. For the last part of class, we're going to divide into 2 groups. They're going to spend 10 minutes in the front of the room working on cartwheels and 10 minutes in the back of the room working on casts and foldovers. So in the front, you'll have them come sit by the wall, and then you'll stand up one by one. They'll come to the purple mat. They'll practice a lever. They'll practice a teeter-totter. And then you'll have them practice a cartwheel landing in the hula hoop. Now for those who that is too difficult for, they will just do a lever, hold the lever, and then they'll jump into the hula hoop from the lever. Once they all tried that, you can show them the rest of the stations in the circuit and have them do it either as stations or as a circuit. Over here, they'll put their hands in the hands, jump onto the block, and then jump off the block. You can do it a couple of times from right to left. And the last station, they're going to put one foot on the red foot. They're going to put their hands in the dots and cartwheel over the blue mat. If there are more kids, more than 3 kids in your group, then you can have them come do some wall sits against the wall for conditioning while they're waiting, and you can put some paw prints or frogs down to show them where to stand. So for the back of the room, to start, you want to try to have all of your kids come do the bars together, so maybe 2 to a bar. If you have more than 4 kids, you might have to have some kids sit out. And you will have them work on their front supports. Make sure you remind them to put their hands right next to the side of their body, point their toes, straighten out their knees, lift up nice and high on the bar. so past their waist. And then you can have them work on a couple of different things like shoulder shrugs or foldovers, just a little bit. Dip your head into the water. Just make sure you're really careful with those because they're still new. And then once you did a couple of different exercises with them, you can have them come sit to the side and show them the 3 stations. So for the 3 stations, the first station is going to be casts. So they're going to put their feet inside of the TheraBand, push up to front support, and practice pushing the band back as far as they can. Then at the second station, they are going to, once again, put their feet inside the TheraBand. They're going to come up to front support. This is the station you should be spotting. They're new to foldovers. Make sure they go slow. They can still fall even out of the TheraBand. Slowly roll forward and push back up to front support. And the last station, you'll come to the P-bars. This one is a little tough. Feel free to alter it if your kids cannot do it. Put your hands on the P-bars, feet in the Frisbee, bend your knees and push back the Frisbee as far as you can. So you're in a plank and then roll forward. If there's time, you can end class with a few minutes of trampoline.